Today we're talking all about how to find epic locations such as this one. You may think like, oh, I don't live in a cool area where there's all kinds of cool stuff. No, there's cool stuff everywhere. You just have to know how to find it. So I'm gonna teach you everything I've kind of learned over the years on how to find a nice big list of places to film. And also a huge shout out to today's sponsor, me. Yeah, that's right. I'm sponsoring my own video. Well, not me, but my tripod Tribex. Now, me personally, I love shooting on location. I'm personally not too much of a fan of filming the studio. I just love just being out here where anything can happen. And if you shoot the right thing at the right place at the right time, you're gonna get awesome footage. All right, let's get going. Look, I'm full throttle right now. Riding sand dunes is hard. Come on. Woohoo!
Made it.
Yes, sir.
That was a struggle.
Another beautiful location. You're always looking for stuff to shoot?
Yeah, all the time. And like location's like a big deal because you either get kicked out of a spot, the lighting isn't good once you're actually there to shoot.
How do you find locations?
I find like a lot on Instagram. I'll be deep in the comments on certain videos and trying to find the location.
I came across this one post where it was like these huge red rocks and it said California. It's like, I've never seen that in California.
Yeah.
So I screenshotted it, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and it's like, no, this is probably like Arizona.
Crazy. I didn't know that.
Another thing that's awesome is like, say like you're doing a little road trip from like, say here to San Francisco or whatever, right? You could actually ask it, what are some good stops along the way? And it'll give you a list of suggestions. Not all of them are great, but it is another way to use it too.
It just keeps progressing every day, honestly. Most of the time when I'm driving in LA, you kind of come across a spot and you're like, oh, that's where that was shot.
Yeah.
And then I always drop a pin.
Do you do your pins in Google or on Apple or?
I do it on Apple. I do it on Apple Maps. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me show you my Google real quick. What I like about Google Maps is that you can actually categorize all your different pins.
Yeah.
Whenever I find a good spot to film, I just have like a camera icon. Empty plates are places I've eaten at. Grows over time.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. These are all you?
Yeah. Oh, the Mint. That's actually a location I've filmed at. And I booked that location to do a Pure Space or something. Yeah. Have you ever used Pure Space or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use it quite often for like indoor settings.
So if you haven't heard of Pure Space, it's a website where you can search and book locations, and there's other websites kind of like it. Basically, it's a good option if you are shooting a project that has a budget, because you of course have to pay for it. Honestly, it's pretty fun just to browse the website for inspiration for future projects or concepts. Maybe you want to make it look like you've succeeded in life, have your own private jet. You could do so for like 40 to 60 bucks an hour. And if you're interested in starting to tag your locations on Google Maps, I will show you how to do so at the end of this video. It's pretty straightforward.
Golden hour is never long enough though.
Yeah.
So we gotta send up the drone.
Golden hour always like it's 10 seconds.
Oh my god, dude, so sick.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
The compression and lighting is crazy.
Oh shoot. I don't know how steep that is. Oh, he's out. Whew, dude. I thought you were going over the edge. Should we call it a wrap before anyone dies?
Yeah, that's it.
Now, the next website you need to bookmark right now is Shot Hotspot. It's a completely free website where you look up your city and it has a ton of different user-generated spots to go and shoot. We have an abandoned hospital here. But before you actually go, make sure you do your research because you will probably encounter a lot of no trespassing signs.
For us to go any further than this, it would be kind of self-incrimination.
Let's say we're scouting out a city like Las Vegas. There's the obvious spots where everybody shoots there on the strip, but I like finding the spots that are off the beaten paths. We went and scoped out a ghost town where you can just go in and just basically pay 10 bucks an hour and they let you shoot there.
Cheaper than a permit in LA, I'll say that much.
That's true, no permit required.
This is interesting. Lots of interesting things to look at, like especially in the fridge.
Oh, wow. And that's the deadliest in North America.
If I have like multiple shirts or multiple outfits that we have to do, being in a spot like this where you have like such diversity in backdrops, do an outfit change, move 10 feet into like a cool church, do another outfit change, go next to this cool old truck that's down there, you know, like having that diversity I think makes a big difference.
All right, let's saddle up. I would say one of the best ways to find epic locations is just to go out and get yourself an off-road motorcycle. What would you say about that, Justin?
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, so this is all your fault that I'm addicted to off-road bikes now.
You're welcome.
Obviously, like, riding an off-road motorcycle is not for everybody. But I feel like one of my favorite ways to scout, even if it's not on a motorcycle, is any sort of bike. Like if you're in New York City, just grabbing like a pedal bike. You could move fairly fast, but you could also slow down whenever you see something nice.
Doing it from a bike like makes you more agile And also
Yeah.
it's just fun. Like if you're in a Jeep right now, you're bouncing all over the place.
What's your favorite way of finding locations?
The first thing that I do is I talk to the locals. The nice thing about that is like they can curate it to what you like. You know, it's like, man, I really like being outside and I like big forests or whatever. And it's not just the touristy stuff.
I feel like finding the location is kind of like half the battle. Once you found it, one, you have to remember. Is there a way you like to do this?
All this stuff is saved on Onyx.
Onyx,
It's another
yeah.
app that I use.
Onyx, it's like it's a paid thing, so it's not like for everybody, but what I love about Onyx is that you can take a picture and then just save it to that
Totally.
waypoint. This is the route you showed me, and then I just started
Oh,
doing
so
my
you
first.
started doing it too?
Yeah.
There
and
you
then,
go.
Like, I got my little photo right
That's
there.
cool. Google Maps doesn't have all these off-road roads.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this Onyx does. It's dedicated for off-road. You see all these like X's?
Oh yeah. Oh my
That's all
gosh.
me. So I can click on it and then I know like, okay, this is the tree shot. I named it the tree shot.
Yeah. All right. So this is the scene where I try to sell you this tripod, but don't worry about clicking ahead because this is going to be over by the time I'm done setting up this tripod, leveling it out, and we're good to shoot. If you're interested in learning more, I have a in-depth video on this tripod that you can check out by clicking that link right there. And let's carry on. Link in description. And one of the things I like to write down is which lenses should we come here with, right? So like this is a great one because we have 180-degree view, so I could go 16 to 35, get some landscapes. Let's say there's trash and a burning car over in the corner, then just go with a tighter lens, you know, 50 mil.
The sunset's a little early here though, because of that big mountain.
Yeah, I would say one of the things we do way too many times is find a great location and we go, oh, let's come back here for golden hour. By the time we get back, the sun is already set.
It looks like this.
So make sure you download this app, Sunseeker. You go into 3D view. I like this 3D view because you could always know where the sun's gonna be at what time and kind of plan accordingly.
And say that you see the sun is gonna be behind a mountain at golden hour, then just keep that in mind. But one website that I recently discovered is Shade Map. It's actually not an app, it's just like a website, but you type in Shade Map and it brings you here. And it's a really cool map that takes into account the geography around you and it shows you what parts on the map lose light at what time. And like places like Alabama Hills, you're right next to Mount Whitney, one of the tallest mountains on, I think, the lower 48 states. So definitely a very useful tool when you're planning out your shoot, because if you're planning on trying to get some like backlit golden rays and then you get there and the sun's just completely behind a mountain, that's always frustrating. So, you know, it's a simple website that you could check. It's free. Honestly, my favorite time might be actually after sunset. You know what I mean?
You always say you like blue hour.
Yeah. Now, in the same way I've been obsessed with riding bikes off-road, Carrie has found a new obsession too.
I just recently discovered geocaching.
So let's say you're in like a new part of town or even your town. Did you know that there's just like randomly hidden stuff all around?
Like, look at how many geocaches are in this area.
Oh, she thinks she found something here.
It's somewhere around here. Oh, she found it. Oh, look at that.
It looks like it'll be drugs in there, but
Just random stuff. I
Random
like the
stuff.
bigger ones that have a lot of cool things inside.
we had no idea this thing existed.
Even my mom knew.
So if you ever are driving down the road and you see Carrie digging through a random bush, you know what she's doing. But sometimes you just end up in places that you would have never stumbled across if you weren't doing this. And it's also a really fun way to explore new towns. It's the whole world. It's crazy. Like you look in Japan, it's like all over the place. I have the free version and I don't get to see everything, but I get to see enough to like find cool stuff. But Carrie has the paid version.
Premium. To the next one.
We're just in a part of LA that we've never really explored before in the past. And instead of just like wandering around aimlessly, she pulls up the app and it brings us to places like this. Now, when you get close to the geocache, you can turn on the compass mode and it says 9 feet that way. And it generally will get you within a few feet of the geocache. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit off, but
Looking around for anything that looks weird. You found it?
Oh, there's a bunch of bird
there's
poop on it.
That's disgusting.
Okay, not gonna sign that long.
Yeah, but you can at least mark it as
I found it, yeah.
So one of the things I really like about pinning spots I've been to on Google Maps is that it shows you where you've been, but also where you haven't been. And after living in Los Angeles for over 15 years, I realized that I've never really explored this whole section here in the middle. Like I've got nothing there. So I kind of want to go and explore. I mean, we've got places like Compton. All right, so we're exploring Compton now. That's what this day has kind of turned into. There's actually this group called like the Compton Cowboys and they ride around on horses around Compton. Like what? That's the beauty of exploring it. It's like you just come across stuff that you would have never known existed. Another really good resource, ChatGPT. I'm here in Compton right now looking for some good filming locations. Do you have any suggestions?
The Compton Courthouse on West Compton Boulevard has been used in movies like Straight Outta Compton.
This is the spot, like, look. This location's good enough for movies. I actually find a lot of my locations, such as this one, from just hiking. So aside from Onyx Off-Road, there's also Onyx Backcountry, which is basically the same thing, but it's more designed for hiking, mountain biking, I think also rock climbing. But also there's some really great free options for hiking. There's All Trails, really great. And for mountain biking, Trail Forks is what I used to use. But the few main reasons why I personally pay for Onyx is because I can pin a photo straight onto the map. I also like that as we're hiking, it's leaving breadcrumbs behind us that shows us where we've been, where we haven't been, which direction we're going. If I come back to a place way later, I could already see which trails I've already done and which ones I still have yet to do. So that's useful. If I'm going to a place with no reception, I can pre-download the maps beforehand. Also, when you want like a really nice view, you usually want some elevation, right? So you can actually tilt it, and it's very easy to identify where you need to go if you're trying to get a nice high view of something. And of course, it's all about trying to crop out all these railings and stuff like that. And then we just come down low. Oh, you see that? No railing in the shot. All right, so it is about 35 minutes before sunset. So now we're starting to get this beautiful golden light. I feel like golden hour is kind of a cheat code, you know? It could really make any location look kind of good.
I think there's a motto in our household: never miss a golden hour.
All right, time to start marking up your Google Maps to look like mine does. Yours probably looks like this. I personally would definitely recommend going to satellite view. I know it doesn't look as clean. You can zoom into an area and be like, okay, this is just a bunch of houses. I'm not really looking for that. It just gives you a lot of detail and trails that may not be marked. But right now we are here at Lanada Bay Canyon. I'll tap that and I'll go ahead and hit save right there. And I already have these categories and lists based on what I want. I would say this is a great film spot, so I'm gonna go ahead and tag it. And I personally always start off with the last 2 digits of the year. So this is 2025 and it is March, so then 03 for March. I would say this is a great golden hour spot because we can see the sun right up until it hits that horizon, which is gonna be great. And also accessibility and parking, so we'll put easy parking. Another thing I like to do is pull up my air maps to kind of see if I'm allowed to fly drones here. I personally actually have a completely different list called FPV spots for drone spots, so I'll just mark it under there as well. I'm also gonna write down that it's fairly quiet, so you know there's a lot of locations that may be visually amazing, but there's a lot of traffic and noise and buses and everything, so maybe a bad spot to record audio and talk into camera. But if it's for photography or b-roll, those could be awesome options. And I also like to write down that it's not too busy. I generally like to record in privacy because I always feel a little weird when I'm talking to a camera and people walk by and they're like, what's he doing? That's why I kind of like to film in more isolated spots. 3 bars of reception on Verizon, because last thing you want to do is have a bunch of people meet at a spot and realize, oh, no one can call each other or text each other here. Now let me show you how to make a new list. So let's go out here into the desert, do a little pin right here, and I'm going to just go ahead and create a new list. It's a new category, and of course you're going to want to assign it in emoji. That way when you're kind of zoomed out from a bird's eye view, you can quickly identify what's a filming spot, what's a spot you want to go eat at. I know my map of LA looks kind of overwhelming, but then let's say I'm just going to try to fly some FPV, then I would just go to my FPV spots list and it'll just show me my favorite spots to go flying. Anyways, that is the very end of our golden 2 minutes. Hope you learned some stuff. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any suggestions on how you find epic locations and all that good stuff. That's all. Goodbye.